G'day and welcome back to what is the last video in the series. So thank you very much for bearing with me over the time for those that have made it through. And we'll cover off the psychological side of retirement, which is something that is not spoken about enough, but I think should be covered up on. And then we'll just provide a bit of a summary and a bit of an overview of the chat and the topics that we've covered. Again, here's your general advice disclaimer, not personal financial advice, but general financial advice. So the psychological side of retirement, obviously striving for retirement is generally something that people really strive to get to. It's a lot of planning goes into it, can be 4 decades worth of planning or more to get to what might be one of life's ultimate goals. But then when you get there, sometimes it just doesn't go as planned, and that might be for a number of reasons, and that might be that people were so engrossed in the work that they did and they really enjoyed their job. I absolutely love my job. I'm not sure what retirement looks like for me, but what it can't look like for me is giving up something that I've loved in the past, that's been quite consuming in my life, because I really enjoy it, to then going to do nothing. We can't retire to the couch. So the last bullet point there is obviously everyone, regardless of age, requires purpose. We need a reason to jump out of bed. So, it can be a range of hobbies, but I know that whilst I love fishing, if I gave up work and then was told I need to go fishing for 5 days per week for 8 hours each day, I would get very sick of fishing. And that's where obviously we need to retire to go and do something else that we enjoy, other hobbies, volunteer work. And I'm seeing the more active people are, the younger they're staying, the more positive they stay, and that's where, making sure that you've got that purpose, that reason to jump out of bed each day in retirement is absolutely vital. And I've seen people at both ends of the spectrum where they've retired and they hate being retired because they haven't filled the void yet, and then I've seen people that just don't have enough time in the day through physical activity. They've never been fitter, their volunteer work, they're giving back to the community constantly, whilst travelling a lot, and giving up time for family. So I think that's just important. There is I've seen people do it extremely well, and I've seen people do it extremely poorly and then learn and change their habits. So trial by error, but it's important to have something to go to that you love, or want to try in retirement. One other thing I say to clients is that don't please leave the fun stuff for later. And I think of retirement in 2 parts. One is the let's say at age 65, that first 15 years, between 10 to 15 years. So from 65 to 75, that's essentially time to go hard. Have lots of fun, and you'll more than likely spend more money in those times, that first 10 to 15 years, than what you're going to do at the back half of your retirement. And I think that second half, you may not have the physical ability or the mental want to actually go and do anything. So I'm sure there's a pivot point where the body fails and we can't physically do it, or that mentally we can't be bothered doing it. So I think it's really important that you go and do the stuff that was on the bucket list, that's within your budget and you can afford to do it in that first half, in the early years, while you're fit enough, young enough and keen enough to do it. And lastly, this is obviously a bit of a summary. There's a lot of complex issues here to consider. So a lot of information, a lot of things to think about. Obviously, a lot of these issues can be broken down into smaller chunks and completed in an appropriate order. Now, I've actually, in my contents on page 2 in the ebook, which you can download for free, that contents in my that contents page, which covers off each of the topics that we've gone through, is essentially a bit of a playlist of things that you should deal with in that particular order. Now, your accountant or your solicitor may have some different thoughts about that. That's fine. And the last point here is use all of your professional service team to make sure that you're guided with that. So I may not have the order perfectly. For me, that makes sense to me. For others, it may not quite be that, but that can be used as a bit of a playbook to make sure that you tick off each component of of the the contents page to make sure that you think about all the things that are necessary to go through what is a vast and complex and a confusing time. Obviously, selling an asset like a farm is a huge issue. So use the ebook, and I hope all the information was valuable. Please feel free to reach out to us. Look, we're just working hard in our small little town of Horsham, and love helping people out. So reach out if you need some extra guidance. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time, and speak to you soon. Bye.